During self-quarantine, I decided to teach myself how to code. By creating a video game based on Steve's World of Wonders. Here you can see I've got the control pad working, but the animation isn't very good. But I've got the character moving, corresponding with the control pad. I decided to teach myself the program Google Sketchware, which uses a visual programming language, and I'm learning it from scratch. I've never done this before. I hope to have it so that in the game you'll be able to move the Steve character around a town, a museum, and a park, and record things with your camera. And the better content you have, the more points you get. In the next clip, you'll be able to see that I improved the animation of the character, the Steve character. I wanted him to walk around. When you click on the screen, the white dot shows where I'm clicking, and that was really hard to accomplish. But you can also use the control pad down here if you want to be more precise. Eventually I'll have a background with houses and things he can go into, pathways he can walk down. But the cool part I added today was this recording button. If you click this, he takes out his camera and starts recording when he's walking. When that recording button is red, he always has his camera out. And the game will actually time how long he's been recording, and when he gets a 30-minute recording, the game's over and you're judged by the content. And if you press the recording thing again, oh, I haven't added that part yet. He'll put his camera away. I have to do that next. Alright, I made some changes to the programming. Let's see if the energy bar and the battery bar work the way they're supposed to. The energy bar is working. You can see the green on the energy bar going down. Now the character has his camera out. Battery bar should start going down even when I'm standing still, and it is. You can see it here. And does it go down when he moves too? Yep, still going down. And it'll go down all the time he has his camera out and the recording button is depressed. Control pad works too. Let's see if it stops when he puts his camera away. Yep, battery bar is not going down anymore. Good, it worked. So this is the Sketchware program where I've done the programming for my game, and I just wanted to add that I've made even more progress in my game computing. I added an energy bar. No, not the kind of energy bar you eat. I added an indicator that shows how much energy your character has left from walking around. Every time you walk or every time you do an action, you lose energy. And I'm going to have in the game where you can build back your energy by resting, either by sitting down on a bench or sitting somewhere. Sitting down to eat will increase your energy, or eating will increase your energy, or maybe even drinking. And depending on what action you take, it'll give you more energy or maybe a little bit of energy. I have that variable in there too. And I have battery life for the camera option in the game. Whenever you have your camera out, that battery life will go down. It started out, I programmed it where the battery life would go down only if you were moving around with the camera, but that didn't make sense because that's not what happens in real life. So now I have it where even if you're standing still, the battery life will go down if you have your camera out. If you don't have your camera out, that will stand still. Alright, so I just added a feature to this where I now have borders that I can't cross. Before, the character just ran off the side of the screen. I'll show you the programming, what the programming looks like. So in order to move, you have to press these buttons. So in this field of view, if you click the button, and if I click event, I have the programming here for when you press that button listed here. So where is it here? Oh yeah, this statement right here that I'm dragging around, it's all drag and drop if and then statements and different functions you can drag and drop into the programming. So it's all visual programming. There's nothing typed out really. So this if not statement, that's if the character, if it isn't less than 1 on the screen, if the character doesn't move less than 1 on the x-axis, which is the fold to the left side, if it's not further than that, less than 1, then when you press this button up, when you click the button, the character, which is view Steve, will move -50. So it'll move to the left if it's not too far left. So that's what that statement means. So that gives you an idea of the programming. So when up clicked, it does all these functions, various things. I can tell you what some of the others means. This energy loss, that affects the health bar. So every time you move, you get more tired, right? So the character gets more tired, so the health bar goes down. So that's what this bit of programming does there with the energy loss. And further down here, if rec means recording. So if your camera is out on the character, then it does this certain animation that's in the if statement. That's in animation programming there. But if the camera is not out, which is the else part of the statement here, then it does a different animation without the camera out. So that's basically what the programming looks like. It can get pretty involved, but having it visual like this really helps to make it easier. There aren't many tutorials and things like that for this programming, so I'm at a standstill with the programming right now because I think I have to redo all this because this all has to go on the background of a tile map, which requires different programming than what I have for this linear view. I need a tile map behind the character so I can add buildings and stuff. So I have to redo all this programming, which is going to take a while, on top of a tile map background. So that'll require me to save these blocks of programming, like under on click. I'll have to take this and put it in the collection here, and that'll save that block of programming, so I can just add it to my restarted programming for this game. which will have which will allow me to put in a different background, which will have the tile map. It can get complicated, and the help for this programming, I'm learning this from scratch. I've been teaching myself this over quarantine, and there's not much help, or there is some, but some of it's hard to follow and some of it's in the wrong order. So teaching yourself this can be tricky. Yeah, it works. So there you have it. There's my latest progress in the game. Stay tuned for more progress. Eventually I'll have a little map that he walks around, and buildings he can go into, etc., etc. It'll turn into a real functioning game with objectives and what have you.